Are we recording? Oh, God. Wonderful. Well, welcome back to today's group. How is everyone doing? I want to do a brief check-in and then an overview, and we'll get started. So, who'd like to check in first?
I'll check in first.
Fantastic.
Doing fantastic this week.
You're doing fantastic this week?
Yes.
Really excited to hear that. What's been fantastic about the week?
Everything. I'm getting so much work done. I'm excited for the end of the semester, so
Okay.
I'm working towards that. But yeah, it's just doing real well.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm really glad to hear that. How are you doing?
It's going pretty well. There's a lot to do, but I was like super focused since there's so much to do. I made like almost 2 meals the other night when I was, for this week. So started one and did the other one, so I felt really accomplished, even though there's a lot to do.
Wow, I'm really excited to have such positive feedback from both of you on the week. So that's really exciting for you guys. So I'm just going to quick review what we did last week. So do you guys remember what we talked about? We did
Yes.
an acronym? Yes. What was it?
As long as you have absolutely no follow-up questions.
I don't have any follow-up questions. Just what was the topic we covered last week?
Was it like Dear Man?
Yeah, so last week we talked about Dear Man and objectives effectiveness. So just talking about how we can be effective in our communication skills with interpersonal relationships. And we went over that acronym. Did you guys think that was useful, helpful information?
I thought it was really helpful.
Really helpful? Awesome. Were you guys able to apply it this week?
I think in some ways I apply it every day, or I try and be conscious about my personal relationships.
Awesome. So you're working on being just mindful all the time about it.
Mindful all the time, and treating people how I would want to be treated.
Fantastic. Wonderful. How about you? I feel like you were able to kind of use it?
Yeah. I was working on applying it. I don't want to think about each specific step as I do it, but it just kind of happened. First time that I thought about something.
Okay. Yeah. And just again being more aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That is fantastic. Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys were able to utilize that this week. So today we're going to be talking more on emotion regulation. Specifically, how do we change emotional responses? So what happens when we get into situations? We have those heightened emotional responses. How do we analyze that? How do we change it if it needs to be changed? And how do we handle that situation? So I'm going to have everyone turn to page 227, but it looks like everyone's there already.
Well, I turned to page 277 initially, but I figured it out.
Figured it out? Fantastic. Good. I'm glad to hear. So now we're all on the same page. So 227. So this is our overview of kind of what we're going to be reviewing today. Overview of review. Nice. So again, changing emotional responses. So to change unwanted emotions, we must first check the facts, kind of like we talked about in Dear Man last week. So sometimes that's all that's needed to address a situation is check the facts, and we can change our emotions. But sometimes our emotions don't necessarily, or our emotions fit the facts, so they're the same. So that means the situation's then the problem. So then how do we problem solve and work through that situation? Does that make sense to everyone?
It does.
Fantastic. So there's 3 main parts here, as you can see kind of outlined on our worksheet. So we have check the facts, opposite action, and problem solving. So the first one, check the facts. So this is changing your beliefs and assumptions about a situation to fit the facts, and they can help you change your emotional reactions to it. So this requires you to first, again, check the facts. So how do you think you would check the facts in a situation? How do you get to that point?
Well, I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is that it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with making assumptions about how other people are thinking versus how I feel about something.
Right.
So, and specific. So what specifically what comes to my mind is like the idea of intentionality.
Okay.
it's, it's easy to think that someone intentionally did this to upset me or harm me or make me feel a certain way, when the reality may be, so an element, like to me, it's like if I was going to check the facts, I would say the first thing that I might think to myself is, well, okay, did this person do this to intentionally, upset me or harm me? Is this is that a truth? Is that an assumption that's reasonable for me to go off of right now?
Okay. So kind of taking a step back.
Yeah, that might be one way to check the facts.
Definitely.
For me, because I think it's how easy is it to just assume, well, that person totally did this to purposely piss me off or something.
No,
that might be one way.
I agree, and I think that's a really good response. Step back, start to slowly analyze the situation and say, okay, am I making this assumption, or is this something that's concrete? Mm-hmm. So that's definitely something to kind of go off. Do you have anything to add to that?
Something else that popped in my head right before you shared was almost like you're telling a story, or like I've done lots of different reports with things and ones where I would like to teach people how to write what happened when they were interacting with somebody. Okay. I was write it like you're telling a story, like a movie, as if I'm watching it. You knocked on the door, this person came to the door, so okay. So it's almost like, okay, there's a instead of doing it. They gave us a dirty look, say if somebody driving, it's like, okay, the head turned and
So being very specific.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next two here. So opposite action. So when your emotions don't fit what's going on in the situation. So let's say you're really, really angry, but the situation doesn't necessarily call for that. It's doing something opposite, so acting opposite of what your emotions are saying. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So when you act opposite of your emotions and you do this repeatedly, it'll eventually change your emotional response. So it's not like it's going to happen right away. All right, I'm going to do one thing to change how I'm feeling. You got to do it repeatedly and constantly, and that's going to eventually, over time, change that emotional reaction to that situation. So then the last part or way to kind of change your emotional response is then to problem solve. So problem solving, this happens when your emotions fit the facts. So what you're feeling right now fits the information that you have. So both of them align. Then that means that the situation is the problem that's causing something. So then how do we problem solve to say, okay, I need to change the situation. I need to walk away. I need to change whatever it is going on in that situation in order to make a difference. So this problem solving will reduce the frequency of those negative emotions. Do you guys have any questions or concerns about those three?
What might a good example of opposite action be?
Of how to change your emotional response?
Yeah, so if I'm experiencing an intense emotion, let's say, and so the strategy is I need to act in the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So let's say that I'm feeling an intense anger about something.
Okay.
How
would you act opposite?
Act in the opposite way. Like what does that actually look like?
Yeah, definitely. We can come up with an example. I don't have one written down right here, but we can think of something I could assume together.
Well, I'll give you something. How about
that? Yeah, perfect. Let's work off your pause.
So, I'm not somebody who I don't frequently experience intense emotions. About I think maybe almost 2 months ago, I had a situation where the lady that I'm dating currently, so she has a roommate, and this roommate I find to be quite obnoxious at times and kind of self-centered and sort of rude frequently.
All right.
So we had, and the thing is I'm very busy. She's very busy working 2 jobs, and we actually don't see that much. of each other, you
Right.
know, like maybe twice a week or something like that. So we were together at her house,
Mm-hmm.
and the house that she has a
Was
roommate in, and so we had ordered a bunch of food from Pizza Luce.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's late, so we're just cause she frequently works late, so so we're sitting there, she had been out, I think she'd been out at the bar with this particular roommate, and then left the bar to come and see me, so her roommate came home quite drunk.
Okay.
And kind of stumbled through and went downstairs. So then when the food arrives, she comes running back up and basically just helps herself to our food. And this upset me.
Yeah, understandably.
So I mean, and I don't explode,
Mm-hmm.
but I was feeling intense dissatisfaction and anger about the situation, because it's we didn't invite you. You just come up here and you just basically help yourself, and it's I'm cool with yeah, fine, you're hungry, we've got some food here. I wasn't planning on eating a whole pizza, so if you want to have some, that's cool. No, she ends up almost eating half of it.
All right.
Yeah.
So kind of what I'm seeing here is you're wondering then how the opposite action. But I'm wondering if we actually take apart this situation, what are the facts that are going on right here? What do you guys think?
The facts, well, for me, the fact was I felt very disrespected.
Or would it be that you and your partner ordered pizza and the roommate helped herself
without asking, right?
So it's
So those are the facts.
Yes.
Do you guys think that feeling angry and upset and disrespected is the correct emotional response?
I can see how that would be valid to feel disrespected and upset.
Yeah, it's not our first rodeo, but that's.
So I would say in that situation, it's more of problem solving, because I think your emotions are fitting what's happening right there.
Okay.
So that would be more of okay, how do I change the situation? Do I remove myself? Do I take all of my food from her?
I can tell you what I did.
What did you do?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't have to do anything, because she knew what she did. And she actually looked at us and she's like, oh my, and keep in mind she's quite intoxicated, so
Right.
This is a factor. I don't know that she maybe would have acted in that manner.
Right.
Although completely if she were not intoxicated, but she also does have a habit of just kind of helping herself and not really thinking of anybody else. Which and what I've told. I've told my girlfriend that, I mean, if you're okay with how she is, that's cool. That's your thing. But no, I had ordered that and I had paid for that, and that's that's not cool what she did. So, what ended up happening was she kind of looked at us it's just oh my gosh, she didn't even realize what she was doing until it was already kind of too late. She had eaten a bunch of it. And I looked right back, she's like, oh, this is so not, this is not good of me, is it? And I looked right back at her and I was like, no, it's not.
I think that was an appropriate way to handle the situation. I think it kind of goes back to dear man skills of maybe next time you're with your girlfriend and the roommate there, having a conversation of hey, this stuff that you're doing is inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. Well, set up sort of a chain of events, and the chain of events were basically that I think that she was seeking validation that what she did was okay. I did not validate that. I did the opposite of validate that.
Right.
She got up and kind of got into a little bit of a tiff, I guess, for lack of a better term. She almost got kind of an attitude. I'm not really sure. Comes back, throws $20 on the table, and I'm just sitting there I can't do this.
Right.
I physically got up and went for a walk out the door.
So you problem solved and you removed yourself from the situation. I think is really
Yeah, I created another problem because my
Yeah.
girlfriend was basically left sitting there,
put in an awkward
and she did not
position.
appreciate that.
Right.
You see.
For sure.
So then I came back, and then I had to talk it out with her.
With your girlfriend?
Yeah, like talk it out with her because she was so now she's feeling like I basically abandoned her and left her behind. So
it cycles.
Yeah.
Kind of one thing led to another. I really appreciate you sharing that story, but I am gonna jump ahead because we don't have a lot. No worries, I appreciate it. So one thing that people always talk about, they're like, well, yes, I can change my emotional response, but why? Or what's the reason behind it? And there's really four things. When you're feeling upset and you're feeling agitated or you're having this intense emotional response, there's really only 4 things you can do, right? So you can either change that response and make the situation less difficult for you. You can solve the problem by changing the situation or leaving, like in your case where you got up and left, even though that may have caused another problem, but might have hopefully solved one.
it was the right thing to do.
Right, I agree.
I stand by it.
I think getting out of the situation was really good. You can radically accept what's going on, or you can stay miserable. So I hope that, or stay miserable, or actually make it worse, I think is even possible. So I'm going to have you flip the page to page 228. We're going to talk about checking the facts. So kind of, the main point here is that we often react to our thoughts and interpretations of an event. So we're making assumptions and we're reacting right off of those, rather than to just the straight facts of the event. And changing our beliefs, our assumptions, our interpretations to fit what's actually going on in the situation can then, in turn, change our emotional response. So rather than making assumptions. So I'm going to have a practice exercise for you quick. So imagine the following scene. All right, you're in a car, and your car now has a flat tire. So you're on the side of the freeway, and you're parked right on the side of the road where the ramp is, okay? You picture yourself in this horrible, you're upset, you're frustrated, maybe you're on your way to something, okay? So you're standing next to your car and hoping that someone's going to see you, right, and stop and help. So you see your best friend or someone, whoever you have in your head who might come rescue you, maybe your significant other. You see someone coming down the ramp onto the freeway in their car, and they are alone. So you wave and jump up and down, and you're like, oh my gosh, hey, come help me, my tire's flat. And they actually speed up and drive past you. What are you feeling? Scourged, yeah. Shouldn't your friends stop and help you?
You're saying that like if this is somebody that
This is someone you know.
Is our friend. Oh.
Your friend actually drove past you, and you're waving to them like, hi, friends. I actually know you. You're my best friend. And they speed on past you.
Yeah, that would hurt a little bit.
A little bit? Okay.
I mean, I don't know. From the outside looking in, that's actually kind of funny.
But if you were actually there on the side of the road, maybe not so much. But anyway.
Exactly. I mean, when you're on the side of the road and you need some help, and somebody you know drives past you, you're just like, okay.
Right? Like, wow, that's rude.
But then I noticed, as I was trying to do that, what else am I doing? The ones that we did, what did they see? Where's the
Oh.
They did see you. I sorry, I left that part out. They looked right at you.
Okay, so
And
we
they
knew
saw
that they
yep.
saw us.
But they didn't know it was you.
Right.
That's true. They could maybe have
Maybe
still
they
not
have
seen
one
you.
or
Well, that
But
leads
then
into
they
the next
point
part. You guys are just jumping ahead. I love it.
Maybe they saw you and they were just like, sorry, bro, I'm in a hurry too. Can't help you.
Right. So we need to stop and think about what else could be going on. So the example that I have is you discover eventually, this is like a really extreme example, that they have a small child in the car that you can't see when they drove past, and the child's hurt, and so they're trying to get to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So then would that change how you feel about the situation? Like,
oh, definitely.
Then it's like, oh, it makes sense that they drove past me and didn't stop and help and all of that. Yeah. So knowing the facts again really changes your interpretation of the event. Do you guys have any examples of a time you interpreted an event or you thought about something or made an assumption that influenced how you felt about it? I know, it's hard to kind of come up with the top of your head, but.
I could go back to the aforementioned scenario that I was talking about before, actually.
Yep.
Unless you were
Go for it.
had something to think or
We can continue on that,
thought
and then
something.
every time as I think of one, we can go in that one.
Yeah, so the thing that upset me the most about that is that I think assumed that she did it on purpose.
Okay. So your assumption going into that was she intentionally did this to upset you maybe, or like she knew what she was doing, she knew that it was rude or.
So my girlfriend sort of tried to play it off like or rationalize it for me by saying, well, no, she didn't. It wasn't on purpose. She didn't know what she was doing. It's just being her, that kind of thing. And I said, no, you disrespected me. I don't think she intentionally did it to disrespect me, but I think she definitely, she intentionally simply took what wasn't hers.
Right.
She intentionally crossed the boundary to meet her own, to serve her own needs or whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, I'm not 100. That may or may not be the case.
Oh, are you saying
you know what I
instead of
mean?
being intoxicated?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah, that could influence
you have
it,
to
for sure.
the question that you want to ask yourself maybe is, was this done intentionally? Is my
Right.
you know,
Like, oh, I just really want to do something.
right, you know, or was it a situation where, yeah, okay, you know what, alcohol is a factor, and also I know that she said at one point that I hadn't eaten all day. She hadn't, or not me, but she hadn't eaten all day, and I thought, okay, yeah, well, I'd be pretty hungry too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Probably shouldn't be drinking, but okay.
But
Maybe not a great decision there, but
right, maybe not.
she's
But
not renowned for decision making. Well, yeah, and that's just it. Is looking back on it, it's like, okay, I mean, what? I'm not saying it's right, but what other elements were there to consider? I guess that's on the topic of what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of the point I'm getting at is when you're in these situations in the moment, you may not realize it, you may not be able to think as clearly, because when we have those intense emotions, it's hard to do that. But when we step back, and so that goes to how do we check the facts. So kind of the second box here on our worksheet is how do we actually go through in the situation and check what's going on. So the first thing that you really need to know is being able to name the emotion that you're experiencing, and so you can say, okay, what is it that I want to change? What is the emotion that I want to change? If you don't know what your emotion is, I mean, how are you able to change it if you can't identify it? Does that make sense? So this kind of goes back, I know, weeks ago in our emotion regulation, actually, I think it was a couple weeks ago, handout 6. That's a good worksheet to review, but unfortunately we don't have time to do that today. So I'm just going to kind of go through these pretty quickly, but the next one, so number 2, is ask what the prompting event was. So describe the facts observed through your senses. So that's just the facts of what's going on. Challenge your judgments, extreme thinking, absolute black and white descriptions, to try and get a more balanced view of the situation. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Great. Next one, number 3. So what are my interpretations, thoughts, and assumptions around the event? So like you were saying you were assuming that she was doing it intentionally, right?
Right.
And that she wanted to be disrespectful and that all the things that you had said. So you did a really great job of going back and saying, okay, these are my assumptions that I'm making. Really great. So then the next part is, am I assuming a threat?
What kind of threat?
I didn't see.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so then I think sometimes when I think of the threat differently, so say if we're expecting somebody to call, but then they have a caller for like a half an hour. Sometimes it's like, okay, why have they stuff? And so then the threat could be like, oh, do they still want to talk to me? Or do they like me? Or
Yes.
do they care about me? So that would be a threat, just in a different way than you might be thinking of threat, but it's still a threat.
Right. No, that's actually a perfect example, and it is one that's given. Is when you're waiting for someone to call you or if someone doesn't respond to you, it's immediately like oh my gosh, it's because they hate me, they don't like me, they don't want to talk to me anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's the threat.
And that's usually not the case.
Right.
Usually not. Yeah.
But it like becomes about you.
Mm-hmm.
In
Yeah.
that situation, it's like, well, this just becomes about me. Like it's not about reality. It's
Right.
about me and how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very good. So in this part, you want to be able to label that threat and then evaluate the change of the threatening event, the chance that this event will actually occur. So what is the chance that this person actually hates you? Probably pretty slim. You don't know, but kind of going through and thinking, okay, like maybe their phone died or maybe their meeting's running late, or kind of checking that, which is then thinking about other possible outcomes would be the next part. So
Right.
what else could be going on that's not this extreme, like, instant they hate me? And then the next part is actually asking, what if this catastrophe, like, what's the catastrophe here? What's going on?
That's kind of funny to me.
Isn't it a great word?
What's the catastrophe?
Right, like, as if it's this big thing.
Yeah. Where's the fire?
Right, so imagining, like, what's the worst thing that could be happening? What's the chance of this happening, and then problem solving through that actually going on? And then the last part is, does my emotion and the intensity of my emotion, not just the emotion, actually fit all of the things that I went through already?
So for question number 5, is that kind of like worst case scenario type thing, basically? So you'd want to think like, okay, like let's pretend that we're just having a meltdown. Yeah.
And this person that was supposed to call me didn't call me, and the reality that they didn't call me because they actually hate me.
Yeah.
So then so that's the full catastrophe. If that's the worst outcome, what are the realistic consequences of that outcome?
So you want to think about like how can I cope with this? So that's your problem solving, or
so kind of in preparation of like, okay, how do I deal with this?
radical acceptance, like, oh, okay, well, the world's ending today.
What's
exactly.
Well, it's actually not going on, and
well,
we had a good run.
Yeah, we tried. Do you guys have any questions about how to check the facts? Or does that all seem pretty clear to you?
That seems, I don't know, pretty straightforward to me, because I don't know, I'm pretty analytical, and
so this kind of fits.
My mind kind of just goes right there a lot of times.
This might be a little bit easier for you than most people who maybe are coming from a more emotional brain.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually are running out of time, so I just want to quick summarize what we did. So again, checking the facts. The reason we do this is because we want to actually know if the emotions that we're experiencing in a situation actually fit what's going on. And if it's not fitting what's going on, then we want to start doing opposite action to change that emotion. If it does fit, then we're going to problem solving, right? Mm-hmm. So then again, handout 8, you can review on the 6 checklists to go on how to check the facts. Going through. The homework for this week is actually worksheet number 4 on page 285. Yep, I'm making you guys jump around here. So this is just kind of an actual worksheet on writing down, checking the facts. So I want you guys to do this when you're starting to feel an intense emotion, or maybe you're upset about something, you're angry about something. And I want you to then go through and step by step answer these questions sometime during the week. And then we can review it next week if you guys have any questions.
Thanks.
All right, well, it was really good seeing you guys. I'll see you guys next week.
Great, sounds good.
Sounds fun.